mysterious about Keith Richards. The man who gave us Satisfaction, Jumpin' Jack Flash, and Start Me Up has riffs written into the DNA of rock music itself. But here's the thing most people don't know. Before the Rolling Stones became the greatest rock and roll band in the world, Keith Richards was writing songs for other people. Pop singers, girl groups, even other rock acts. Long before the swagger, the fame, and the chaos, Keith was quietly shaping the sound of 1960s pop culture from behind the curtain. And some of those songs didn't just work, they became hits. So today, let's dig into 5 songs written by Keith Richards, some with Mick Jagger, that you probably never realized came from his pen. Each one tells a story of ambition, friendship, heartbreak, and the birth of rock's most famous songwriting partnership. Let's start at the beginning, when Keith's songwriting helped another artist reach the top before the Stones did. Number 1. That Girl Belongs to Yesterday, Gene Pitney, 1964. It's early 1964. The Rolling Stones are still finding their footing. They've got raw talent, but they're still covering blues classics from artists like Chuck Berry and Muddy Waters. Their manager, Andrew Loog Oldham, sees the writing on the wall, literally. If the Beatles can write their own songs, why can't the Stones? So he locks Mick Jagger and Keith Richards in a kitchen and says, "Don't come out until you've written something." And out of that creative imprisonment came the very first fruits of the Jagger-Richards partnership. One of those early compositions? That Girl Belongs to Yesterday. Oldham had connections with American pop singer Gene Pitney, who had already achieved stardom with hits like Only Love Can Break a Heart. Pitney loved the melody and recorded it, a smooth pop ballad about lost love, far removed from the gritty blues Keith usually played. When it was released in early 1964, it climbed into the UK top 10, reaching number 7, the first ever Jagger-Richards song to hit the charts before the Rolling Stones themselves scored a top hit. Think about that. Before Keith Richards was the rebel guitarist the world feared and adored, he was a behind-the-scenes songwriter crafting heartbreak melodies for pop idols. The song's gentle tone and orchestral arrangement sound nothing like the Stones, but it was an important milestone. It proved that Keith and Mick could write, and that their music had commercial potential beyond their band's gritty image. That song gave Keith confidence that maybe the words he scribbled on hotel napkins and late-night coffee cups could reach the world. And from there, things started to move fast. Number 2. Shang A Doo Lang, Adrian Posta. Now let's rewind to the same year, 1964. Keith Richards and Mick Jagger are still testing their songwriting wings. And they're asked to write something for a teenage pop singer named Adrian Posta. Adrian was only around 14 years old, bright, bubbly, full of promise, and her label wanted a hit that could rival the girl group sound coming from America. The Ronettes, the Supremes, the Crystals. Keith and Mick came up with Shang A Doo Lang. Just the title screams the era. That playful, nonsensical 60s energy where pop lyrics could sound like candy wrappers and still work perfectly. The track was filled with catchy handclaps, doo-wop harmonies, and a melody that could make any teenage radio listener sway. It wasn't a massive hit, but it showed how versatile Keith could be. He could go from blues chords to bubblegum pop without blinking, and it also proved he understood what people wanted to hear, even if it wasn't the kind of music he personally loved. Behind the eyeliner, the cigarette, and the bluesy riffs, Keith Richards was a craftsman, writing to fit a voice, not just a vibe. It's almost funny when you think about it. The man who would later write Sympathy for the Devil once wrote a teen bop for a 14-year-old pop singer. That's what makes Keith's story so fascinating. His early career wasn't just rebellion, it was adaptability. Number 3. So Much in Love, The Mighty Avengers, 1964.
Just where I ought to be, you thought I was so much in love with you, yeah.
By now, Keith and Mick had started to get the hang of it. They'd written a few songs, seen others perform them, and realized something powerful. Their words could carry weight, even without their guitars attached. Enter the Mighty Avengers, a band from Coventry, England. They weren't a household name, but they had energy, and they wanted something fresh. Keith and Mick handed them a song called So Much in Love. It was a beautifully arranged tune that fit right in with the British invasion sound sweeping the world. And for 2 glorious weeks, it actually hit #1 in the UK, giving the young songwriting duo yet another taste of success, and this time, domination. For Keith, it was validation. He could write songs that resonated, not just with blues purists or die-hard Stones fans, but with the wider public. His songwriting was reaching beyond the smoky clubs into people's living rooms and radio stations. Even though the Mighty Avengers eventually faded into obscurity, the song remains a snapshot of a moment when Keith Richards was learning his greatest lesson. That songwriting was about storytelling, not just shredding. And the stories he told, of love, loss, and longing, would only grow deeper from here because just a few years later, he'd write a song that was anything but teenage pop. It was dark, painful, and deeply personal. Number 4. Sister Morphine, Marianne Faithfull, 1969. The late 1960s were wild and dark. The innocence of early rock had faded, replaced by experimentation, excess, and self-destruction. At the center of that storm stood Marianne Faithfull, actress, singer, and former lover of Mick Jagger. But behind her haunting beauty was a woman struggling with addiction and heartbreak. In 1969, she released a song that shocked many, Sister Morphine. Written by Marianne Faithfull, Mick Jagger, and Keith Richards, it painted a grim picture of hospital beds, morphine drips, and the numbing escape of drugs. The song wasn't just poetic, it was real. Faithfull herself was struggling with heroin addiction. Keith Richards was too. That shared darkness made the song brutally authentic. Its lyrics, "Here I lie in my hospital bed, tell me, Sister Morphine, when are you coming round again?" echoed the growing pain of a generation searching for escape through dangerous means. Keith's guitar work and songwriting gave the track a haunting undertone, one that only someone who lived that pain could create. The Rolling Stones later recorded their own version for Sticky Fingers in 1971. But make no mistake, Sister Morphine began as a deeply personal collaboration, and a rare moment where Keith wrote for someone who understood his demons. It wasn't about chart positions or fame. It was about expression, survival, and confronting the darkness head-on. Keith Richards wasn't just writing for a singer. He was writing for the human condition. Number 5. As Tears Go By, Marianne Faithfull, 1964.
It is the evening of the day.
Before Sister Morphine, there was another song, one that introduced Marianne Faithfull to the world and marked the true beginning of the Jagger-Richards songwriting legacy. It was As Tears Go By. Keith Richards, Mick Jagger, and Andrew Loog Oldham wrote it in 1964. Oldham thought it was too soft and sentimental for the Stones' rough image, so he gave it to Faithfull to record. She was just 17 when she sang it, and the song became an instant hit, climbing into the UK top 10. As Tears Go By is poetic and melancholic, describing the loneliness and reflection of youth. It is the evening of the day, I sit and watch the children play. For a young Marianne, it was hauntingly mature, and for Keith Richards, it was proof that he could write something timeless. A few years later, the Rolling Stones would record their own version, and it became one of the most beautiful, introspective songs in their early catalog. But the real magic is in the story behind it. Keith didn't write it for himself. He wrote it for someone else. A young woman whose voice carried a sadness that perfectly matched his words. And maybe, in a way, that's what Keith has always done. Written pieces of his soul and handed them to others to bring to life. 5 songs. 5 different artists. 5 sides of Keith Richards we rarely get to see. Before the fame, before the scandals, before the riffs that defined rock, Keith was already shaping the sound of a generation, one song at a time. From teenage heartbreak pop to haunting confessions of addiction, his songwriting has always had depth, honesty, and soul. And even though most people remember him for his guitar, the truth is, Keith Richards is one of the most underappreciated songwriters in rock history. If you enjoyed this story, make sure to subscribe for more tales from the legends who shaped rock music forever. This has been Rock Fame Diaries, where the untold stories of rock come back to life. Until next time, keep your records spinning, and keep the rock alive.